I just got done building this rabbit hutch for friends of ours. They're getting into raising rabbits and kind of asked us to build them a hutch. And this is what I ended up with. I'm happy with it. I'm not a rabbit expert. I think it's going to work well. They have the Flemish Giant rabbits, which are quite large. So I kind of built it with that in mind. I have a good friend back east that raises a lot of rabbits, and he has something similar to this, but his rabbit hutches have 2 levels. Being that these are big rabbits, and our friend is rather short, we didn't want to have 2 levels because she'd have trouble reaching the upper level. So we just built 1 level. But this is 12 feet long. It has 3 4-foot compartments. I'll show you here. I made it so that these partitions can be taken out. You make either an 8-foot compartment, or you could take both partitions out and have a full 12-foot long hutch. If you don't need to keep the males and females separated. So this gives some flexibility. You can have separate 4-foot hutches, or you can make them different size. And then I have these nesting boxes in the back. We'll go around and show. Cut holes here, which leads to the built-in nesting box. I don't know if I made the holes the right size or not. They look rather large to me. That's a 10-inch circle. I made them fairly big because we're dealing again with Flemish Giant rabbits. It just looks like a big hole to me. I hope I didn't make them too big. But I imagine we could block part of that hole off if we had to. If you come around back here, I'll show you. So, on the back we have 3 nesting boxes. I just have hooks on here so you can lift the lid and put bedding in there or whatnot. I looked on the internet trying to find out how big the nesting boxes should be for a large breed rabbit. And I was getting a result of like 20 inches. These are longer than that. My thought was if they are too big and the rabbits end up pooping in part of it, we can always block part of this nesting box off. It would be easier to block part of it off than it would be make it bigger. But this way, if there's multiple rabbits in one compartment, they got big enough room for 2 of them in the box. So that's basically what I did. Yeah, I know the steel on the roof is the wrong way. It's just some leftover steel we had. If I had ran it the proper way, I would have had to put more. I'd have had to put purlins between here to attach the roofing to. I think for the rabbit hutch, attaching the steel this way is going to be fine, and allow me to use less lumber and keep the hutch lighter weight. I think I have some of these materials were already laying around. I have about $450 worth of materials in this hutch. So it's 30 inches wide this way. That's what a roll of the wired hardware cloth mesh is, 30 inches wide. So it's 30 inches, 12 feet long. I didn't have plans. I just kind of built this out of my head. It was really simple to build though. There's 4 12-foot 2x4s in this construction. There's a 12-foot 2x4 here, a 12-foot 2x4 here, and then there's 12-foot 2x4s here. They run the full length, so that gives it a fair bit of strength. And then it's just 2x4 uprights here. There's 4 on the front, 4 on the back. Once you get that basic structure, then it's just filling it in with the doors and plywood. So, again, this is my first attempt at building a hutch. I'm not sure how it's going to work. I think it should work well. I also researched what size mesh to use, and it was recommended this 1 inch by 1/2 inch hardware cloth. was about the proper size for rabbit hutches. So I went with that. I'm not sure if anybody out there knows different or, but hopefully that's the right size and allows the pellets to fall through. I don't know if Flemish Giant rabbits have bigger pellets or not, but that's what the internet said to use. So that's what I went with. Yeah. If you have any questions, you can drop them in the comments. I'll try to answer. But it was pretty simple. It went together pretty easy. Happy how it turned out. Hope you enjoy it and just help somebody.